Republicans have done nothing over the last several months to address the health care crisis that they have created. And they continue to refuse to take yes for an answer. Democrats have an active discharge petition, and all we need are a handful of House Republicans to join us. And we can trigger an up or down vote on a 3-year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits to save the health care of the American people. In every single state in this country,
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries urging centrist Republicans to help extend the expiring Obamacare tax credits. Jeffries filing a discharge petition to force a vote on a 3-year extension, despite GOP opposition. So far, he's got 212 signatures. He is 6 short of the required threshold at this point. But this is coming as Senate Majority Leader John Thune is casting doubt on the odds of a bipartisan deal ahead of a high-stakes vote, which is next week, saying that these discussions with Democrats in the White House are still ongoing. I want to bring in Maryland Congressman Andy Harris. He chairs the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, you know, there's just these 12 legislative days to go before these subsidies expire. So it looks like the path of least resistance, extend them. Question mark is how long? Jeffries is saying 3 years. Initially, Republicans were balking at even a 1-year extension. Where do you land on this?
There shouldn't be an extension of the current subsidies the way they exist. 3 years, again, it's, you know, that's $100 billion. I mean, where is Hakeem Jeffries going to find the money? We have a $1.7 trillion deficit. The Democrats have never suggested a way for pay for this. They created the problem. They're the ones who put the expiration date in of December. And again, we don't need a 3-month extension. What we need to do is help the 93% of Americans who aren't on Obamacare with their premiums. So we need to come up with a few policies that help those individuals and maybe connect it with off-ramping the COVID-era enhanced subsidies. And you don't need to do it for 3 years. We do need some time to develop these policies. I'm suggesting that what we do is we put together a couple of very quick things like HSA enhancements, association health plans, combine it with 6-month extension of an off-ramped COVID-era enhancement. That is, you only grandfather people. There are a couple of other things you do. And then we go into the new year, and then we really deal with the problem of how the healthcare system does not work and is unaffordable for Americans, and to a large extent because of Obamacare and the resulting policies.
Do you think that something like that would have bipartisan support?
Well, I would imagine if that's the only way we get some kind of deal together, I would hope it would. And again, to get the conservatives on, because there are a lot of us who think you shouldn't extend any of these COVID era enhancements. But yeah, if we got some trades for things like association health plans, HSA enhancements, things like that, yeah, we might agree to a short-term deal and then go into the new year. And if it needs to be a second reconciliation bill on health care alone, that's fine, but we do need time. There's no way you can do it in 2 weeks.
Right. Understood. And, you know, I'm so glad that you said that, because Senator Rick Scott's got an op-ed this morning on foxnews.com. He makes a very valid case for, yes, you can fix Obamacare and not throw it out, but change it. He says, I grew up in public housing. I know how to fix it. He says, first off, this new bill would allow insurance sales across state lines, so you have competition. Health freedom accounts, you can call them Trump health freedom accounts, but it's an HSA-style account, similar to what we see in corporate America, which is very common. He also says this puts the decision back into the hands of the American consumer, and then it stops the flow of money to the insurance companies who are signing up people who, at the end of the day, have no idea they even have these policies on the books and they never use them. You know, and he says, look, I mean, you've got to protect people with pre-existing conditions. That's very important. But at the same time, you've got to fix what's there and keep healthcare.gov, keep the website up.
That's absolutely right. Senator Scott's correct. For instance, we could make purchase across state lines part of a short-term package. I mean, it's simple. It's it's a 2 lines in a bill. The same thing with allowing association health plans. Very simple, very effective at lowering premiums for everyone, not just the 7% on Obamacare. And again, combine it with an off-ramped package for these COVID-era enhancements. So grandfathering, elimination of $0 premiums, which is just ripe for fraud and abuse. And as he suggests, consider ways to get the money out of the hands of the insurance companies directly into the hands of the consumers.
Yeah, no, I realize it's a short time frame. The calendar is what it is, but I'm glad to see that these discussions are happening. And again, we're waiting to hear from President Trump. Well, what does the administration want to see happen? I do want to move on to the business of today, in particular, with this election in Tennessee. Polls are open in this special congressional election. Voters are going to be choosing between Democrat Afton Bain and Republican Matt Van Epps. President Trump holding a tele-rally alongside House Speaker Mike Johnson to boost the Republican. Watch Speaker Johnson on the Will Cain show last night.
The problem is when you have a deep red district, a lot of the people take for granted that the Republican or the conservative is going to win. And so this is in the middle of a holiday. A lot of people aren't even really aware this is on the ballot. So we're here. President Trump called into our rally this morning. He'll be doing a tele-rally with Matt and I this evening to raise awareness, to get out the vote, to make sure that the people in Tennessee, in Nashville, and the 14 surrounding counties understand they better get out and vote. This is a radical leftist on the ballot.
Yeah, and you see at the end of that clip right there, the video of Speaker Johnson earlier in the day when President Trump called in on the phone. And, you know, look, President Trump's voice matters in this. I mean, he won Tennessee's 7th district by 20 points. Republicans are heavily favored, but this could be at least closer than expected at the end of the day. Do you think that this is a broader referendum on either the Republicans' policy or where the Democrats are right now? Because they're celebrating their November wins.
Yeah, look, I think it's a reflection of where they are right now. Obviously, the socialists control the party. They had a big win in New York. This is a Bernie Sanders type socialist candidate in Tennessee. Look, they're pumped up. They're going to get their voters out. That's why the only thing that has to happen is the Republicans just have to come out to vote in the district. If they come out to vote, Mr. Van Epps will be the next representative. But again, the socialists are fired up. They like their chances after what happened in New York. But I think in the end, I think Mr. Van Epps squeaks it out, but it's a reflection of where the Democrat Party is right now.
Yeah, and a warning to, we had Congressman Van Drew on in the 6 a.m. hour, and he said, look, this could be a real clear warning to Republicans ahead of the midterms in 2026 to make sure that we are staying on messaging and also tell the American people all of the things that were in the big, beautiful bill, now act, that are going to help them economically in 2026. You mentioned New York. I want to ask you about this. There is this shocking new report revealing that New York State released nearly 7,000 known illegal migrant criminals without notifying ICE. That happened since January 20th of this year. DHS is demanding that New York Attorney General Letitia James release these criminals. Some of these crimes, it's a laundry list of crime: murder, sexual assault. One illegal reportedly attacked an Ithaca cop with a machete. Booted from the United States 8 times. Congressman, you know, the Republicans and President Trump are winning on the issue of immigration, but then you've got issues like this that pop up.
Well, look, the American people should be infuriated. Look, what they want to do in a sanctuary jurisdiction would be fine if those criminals stayed in the sanctuary jurisdiction, but they don't. They cross into the adjoining jurisdictions. Those thugs from New York will come into my district in Maryland because there's nothing to stop them. So again, we have federal immigration policy. It has to be enforced. And again, the president has to get very tough on any jurisdiction that doesn't enforce federal immigration policy. What
can we see from the Freedom Caucus between now and the end of the year?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on making health care affordable for everybody, not just the 7% who receive Obamacare. And then we're going to continue to talk about how important it is that we control our federal deficit going forward in order to keep prices down, to keep inflation down, to keep mortgage rates down, because that's what Americans are thinking about. We think we have the solutions. More subsidies are not the solution. Actually, the free market is the solution, with less government interference and less government spending.
Yeah, Congressman Andy Harris, all great points. We're going to be watching the work of you and your team there. Congressman Andy Harris, thank you, sir.
Thank you.